should I tell the story? All right, I'll tell you a really fun story that I've not told publicly. On the Deathly Hallows Part 2, I was a stand-in for Hagrid, and I got to stand amongst Rafe whilst he was doing his thing, but we never communicated. I was a stand-in. So to fast forward all these years, we shared this story on the train station platform in Newcastle just after rehearsal, and Rafe just looked at me and he said, "And look at you now." Like after I'd read him the story, and that for me was a very important moment just in the journey before we'd even started filming anything on the movie, but just to have stuck with what I wanted to do to get to this point and then be rewarded with Rafe as I've said, my dance partner. I am utterly grateful, and it absolutely helped with my performance in the movie, for sure, massively. I mean, look at him.
No, I have to say, Chai, and what he had to do to prepare these, he had 2 a.m.
2:15, yeah.
2:15 in the morning. This gentleman is in prosthetics, makeup. So he comes on set at 8 or 9. He's been up for a good 7-8 hours.
Wow.
And then he has to do a full shooting day. So and I never quite did that, but I once had to get up early for a film years ago. So
Red
I know.
Dragon.
Yeah, it's a lot, and no one will. They just assume they're going to be there on time. So no one is going to be congratulating you on your stamina, but you need serious stamina to come on set energized if you've been in makeup. So I have my hats off to Chai just for that human achievement. But actually, what a great! I mean, we loved our scenes together. I felt and what the great thing is with the when it's sort of when there's music between two screen partners, you're not talking too much. You're just doing it. Mm-hmm. You're just there in the moment and you're playing it, and that's what I felt we achieved together. Was we didn't discuss, we didn't analyze, Nia didn't. We just gently slide into the moments and let them evolve, and that's the best. That's the best way I think to play a scene with someone. It's just to let it happen, and I think Chai and myself, we found a groove as Samson and Kelson.
Oh. Ha 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 ha. Here we goosebumps, mate.
I think we did.
Yeah, we did. No, we did. Absolutely. I would add to it, but it would take away from the beautiful words you just said. Samson is very different in the first to the second. Like he's very different, and I had to find that mentally had to find that change. And how did that relationship develop with Kelson? So I had to dig and kind of give myself a backstory. But in the preparation, because there wasn't much time in between the shoots, I was able to more or less stay in Samson mode, so to speak. I had a couple of weeks off. And it was actually listening to music whilst reading the script. I was listening to a lot of System of a Down for some reason. A song in particular, Chop Suey, really gave me, there's a scene in the movie, I was reading that page between Samson and Kelson, and I was listening to that song, and it was making me cry. And in that, I knew that I was finding the tone of that scene and how I needed to be within that scene because the song was so important. And that's how I personally sort of found my Samson development within the story.